6 things we love about Miss Marvel and why we think you should give it a chance.
We took a little bit to watch this show, but after diving into the series, I love it. I love it more than She-Hulk. I love it more than many series that Disney Plus has put on. It's become one of my favorite series.
How I know a good series for myself is that if it's rewatchable, and I can't wait to rewatch this entire series again.
So this series is, describe it a little bit for anybody who maybe hasn't watched it yet.
Okay, so Miss Marvel is about a girl named Kamala Khan, a 16-year-old girl from Jersey City that is obsessed with all things Avengers, specifically and particularly when it comes to Captain Marvel. And she sort of feels like she doesn't fit in school and sometimes even at home until she gets her superpowers. And she's just like the heroes that she's always looked up to.
Yeah, the one thing I love about her, too, is she's very humble throughout the whole show.
Definitely.
Even before and after she has her powers.
Now, this is why we say, please give it a chance if you haven't yet. It's been out for a while, but it definitely took us a bit to start watching it. I find that I have trouble watching anything new lately because my expectations are so high, and then I hate getting disappointed. So I just don't even watch. But we finally watched, and I'm going to say there is some, I would say, people that have reviewed it and not so greatly. It's just been something that people have said it's slow, or that they've said it felt like watching one of those Disney original series shows, and because it seemed to focus a lot on the teenager side of things.
Listen, not every series is going to be for everybody.
But I gotta say, I thought that myself. Probably 15 minutes in, I was like, oh, I don't know if this is for us. But then it really becomes this really incredible show that I think everyone should watch.
Well, this is leading into your first thing. It's got top-notch acting.
Top-notch acting. And not that I am, a professional actor, or by any means do I know anything about acting, but I do appreciate, and when I can really believe a character that I'm watching on screen, that to me shows me that it's a watchable show.
You can tell, listen, even if you're not an actor, if you watch movies or series, you can tell bad acting. Like, there's one lady who's in this, who's the head of the department that's trying to catch them, the enhanced individuals. She's terrible.
You think so?
I think she's the worst actor in the whole thing. Everybody else does a great job.
Kamala, played by Iman Vellani, she was actually just fresh out of acting school when she got this gig. Just a quick little fun fact here. So I thought, first of all, you would never know.
No, I think she does a tremendous job.
Yeah, and the list goes on. I mean, I particularly love the mom that plays on the show, the dad. Everyone just is so believable and authentic, and to me, it's all in the eyes when it comes to acting, and you really feel like you can really feel what they're feeling.
Yeah,
her
facial expressions, like the way it looks, very sincere.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
Yep. And so the list of the actors, I would say just top notch. That's what I would say.
Next one.
Next one. Great visuals and cinematography. I think the beautiful scenes, not only when Kamala gets her superpowers, because that alone is really visually beautiful, but it's throughout the whole show. And I love how it's super colorful, just like in the comic books.
Yeah, I like her personality comes through too. Her personality comes through with, like, when they're showing her drawings or the animations overlays on the screen. And at first, when I saw that, when it first was happening on the first episode, I was like, oh boy. But after a few episodes, I really got to enjoy the way they were incorporating that to tell the story of the show.
Do you mean like you thought it was cheesy?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like this cheesy kids show.
Right. But it definitely has that sort of Spider-Man kind of vibe to it.
For sure. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah, that's a great analogy to put it there.
I love that. All right, next one, storytelling. So what I particularly love about this show is that it's easy to follow.
Yeah, and I like that each episode leads into the next episode to tell the whole story.
I agree.
And there was a couple episodes where it was a little confusing because she kind of got sucked into this vortex, and it was telling the story of the past. Of how she got her powers and how her family has those powers. And the first time they did that, I was a little confusing. But as you get through the show, it does a better job of explaining that and kind of putting it all together.
I really loved it. I thought it was easy to follow the entire time. There have been other shows with Marvel that, to me, it can be a little over my head, and sometimes I just pretend that I know what's going on just because Obviously, the acting could be great, and I want to love it so much, but I really, truly have a hard time understanding it. With this particular show, I thought from start to finish, it was a great show, easy to watch, easy to follow. Again, I think that is part of the storytelling and the actors being able to tell that story. So,
and I love how it has a point in the whole Marvel universe.
Right? Yeah,
you know, it ties in together 2 other movies, and it doesn't. You don't need to watch other Marvel movies to really understand this show. It can stand on its own. But if you have watched other Marvel movies or series, it ties in together nicely.
So that would go into the next one, which is how the shows flow together. So that's another thing that we love about it. Each episode leads to the next. It's almost like a long film, long movie.
People said She-Hulk is great because each one is its own. It's not a series, a sitcom.
Right.
Which I don't like that style. Yeah. I'm not looking for Marvel to watch a sitcom. If I want to watch a sitcom, I'll go watch a sitcom. I like the aspect of it tying into the Marvel universe and each show kind of flowing together and you anticipating what's going to happen on the next show. This one does that greatly. She-Hulk didn't do that for me.
I think that's what we're used to with Marvel. And again, that goes back to being able to rewatch it as if it was a movie. And that's what I like about these. So this one is always going to be on my list as a rewatch. And to me, it's because of that, because it ties in together, I think, like a long film.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, the next one is, and these are in no particular order, but this one is the cultural aspects of the show. Really, for me, it was awesome being able to see the other culture that's depicted. I love how the executive producer said that along the way, she said, quote, "Along the way, people are learning so much about our faith and culture," end quote. And I think that's exactly what happened to me. I loved how it showed the partition, the historical event that happened in 1947. I had no idea.
I didn't know anything about that either.
No idea. And I liked how it went with the story and you were learning at the same time. To me, that's anytime I can learn in a non-traditional way, like watching a show, it's epic.
It did a great job of bringing you into the culture.
Totally.
And making you kind of see what people who are in that culture live in. Yeah. Usually from an outsider's perspective, you don't get to see that.
Right.
And they don't show that on TV. I don't know why, but they don't show that on TV. And this one did it really nicely.
Next one and the last one here on the list. There's a lot that we love, but we just don't have enough time to talk about all of them. But today I was going to share the last one. Kamala being a great role model.
Very much a great role model. And I think she, her humbleness and generosity come shining through in this series.
She's funny. She's empathetic. She's an empathetic person. She's imaginative. I love that she's relatable. For me, particularly when I see her, I have yet to find my superpower, but I loved watching her growing up and being this awkward teenager. Aside from her having superpowers, she's trying to figure out a place in the world, and she, has, even though she's living in America, they're still heavy on their culture, and she has to go to her classes and things that she has to do. For me, that was kind of growing up like with Greek school and church. It's sort of how I grew up. I love that she gets to laugh at herself.
And you know what? Sometimes you think to yourself, wow, if I had superpowers, I would do all these things. She got superpowers, and she kind of, first of all, didn't really tell anybody.
Right.
And she wasn't using them for her own personal gain. She was trying to I have superpowers. I've always wanted superpowers. Now that I have superpowers, what exactly do I do with these?
Yeah.
She's trying to figure herself out. And it's very relatable, the fact that she's trying to figure herself out. And I thought she did a great job as an actress to kind of portray somebody who just got powers that doesn't know what to do with them.
Yeah, and that she's goofy and silly. She laughs at the tagline, "Nightlight."
Yeah.
That to me was a really fun pun throughout the whole show. I love that she's just trying to figure out her place in the world, and to me, I think a lot of people go through that, and it's fun to just see someone do it so well on screen, and it makes you feel comfortable, and you can laugh at yourself too, wow, yeah, I remember being that age and going through all those things.
Now, I can't say this show is underrated because it did get a 90-something on Rotten Tomatoes from the critics and an 80-something score from the audience, so maybe it's underrated for you not giving it a chance. But I highly suggest, if you haven't watched it yet, give it a chance. I think once you get past the first 10 or 15 minutes, it's going to suck you in. You're going to really enjoy the show.
I agree completely. I think that it's a must watch. I think it's a must rewatch.
I think it's in my top 3 Disney series when it comes to Marvel. It's definitely in the top 3.
Yeah, I mean, it's up there for me. I haven't figured out a rating of all these shows that have come out, but definitely up there for sure.
Let us know what you think in the comments below. If you've watched Miss Marvel yet. If you haven't, go give it a chance. Come back to the video. Leave a comment. If you have, what's your favorite episode? What do you enjoy about the show? Did you think it was better than you thought it was going to be? Because I sure did.
Same.
Subscribe, hit the like button, and we'll see you next time.